I do want to try to get started so we can honor everybody's time.
Oh, we did. Brian is on.
Brian's on?
Brian is on. Hey, Brianna.
Hola.
Oh, they couldn't come.
I guess not.
Yeah. Okay.
Hi.
So we are, by the way, you guys know that we are live streaming this through Zoom meeting. Thanks to Jackie's got a setup that we can do that with. So we're doing that live stream, and I think that link went out through the emails that were sent. So if you guys do have folks that couldn't be here, that you want this information to go out to, make sure that you're sending them a text right now or telling them to log in, whatever it takes.
Will it be recorded as well?
Yeah.
It's being recorded right now. And this time, the mute is...
Stop it.
She did a fabulous job of recording Thursday night's training. And so there's an hour and almost 2 hours. 2 hours worth of video that now is put on YouTube. And
You saw that. You saw that.
And I watched it, and there's the first 20-some minutes are in that silent feature mode. So you read lips and hand signals and
Look at the pretty pictures.
yeah. It was, but it was great. At least we have this tool, right? I mean, I think it's a fantastic tool. So Carol is extremely wise in her standard fashion. She brought some gifts, some e-shots and chocolates. Because think about this for a second, folks. We talked a little bit about this on Thursday night about giving 100% return on your investment. And so 100% return on your investment means that you do all the proper things in alignment to get that repair, recover, and growth, right? So Carol's brought in e-shots to keep her audience alert, awake, and ready for the presentation, right? So good job. And chocolates, of course. So those two things in combination are fabulous. And I think everybody should share the shot. So the purpose of today was actually created on the July's cruise that we did on Lake Coeur d'Alene. Okay, there was a drawing for winning some time with the Millionaires, some training certificates were given out, and I won one, and I won the mother load. Okay, so I got to have training with Carol, and so in conversations with that, Carol says, "Well, you know what? How about your whole team?" And I was like, "Really?" You know, so this certificate said an hour's training with Carol. Right, and so she bumped it up to her standard fashion to, how about your whole team? And then I said, okay, great, we got an hour with the whole team. And then she says, you know what, I'm just going to block off the afternoon for you. I'm like, what? Wait a second. So she blocks off the afternoon. So of course I stretched it out from 1 to 4. Let's bring it out, Let's make it as much as we can. So what's happening today is that Carol's going to offer and share her journey to success. Now, Carol, you all probably have met her, know her. She is the 52nd Millionaire in Isagenix, and the very first in Spokane. So she's kind of been the groundbreaking piece to help us bring this to this location, right, to Spokane. Of course, Joni Brewer brought it to the entire state, and then through her disciples, Carol, she's now built an amazing team. So Carol has done that and learned from the best. And now we get to absorb that and learn from Carol. So I have pens, notebooks. Does everyone have things to take notes with that are necessary? Anything you need?
Oh, yes.
You need some paper? Okay.
Or more notes.
So right here?
I have handouts.
I have.
And I'm going to come behind you.
Okay. I have goodies,
I have
notebooks, and pens galore.
Yay. Anybody else need any paper?
I have some little notebooks there.
You need that, Linda?
Okay.
Sorry.
Carol, do these get passed out now?
Which ones are they?
The 3-step system?
No, I'm going to hang on to that.
Okay. Just checking.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't.
Okay, so everybody got the things you need? All right. So our trainer today, Carol Waldenberg, is an 8-star platinum, 6-star crystal executive, right? So so for those of you who are not real familiar with the amazing stars, well, first of all, getting to an executive status, that's a challenge all on its own, right? That is the highest leadership position in Isagenix, and so Sarah and I just reached that on the 18th, just a couple days ago. And trust me, it's you've got your work cut out for you. I mean, I've been learning this step by step, and cultivating a team, cultivating a purpose. There is your ticket, right? That's where, as you start to develop yourself, keep that in your heart, and you start developing people around you that are cohesive with that, right? And then it's less work. It's less work because you're not always dragging something with you. They want to partner with you, all right, and walk beside you. So here we are, Carol Waldenberg, 8-star platinum, all right? So she's been doing this for a while. She's been with the company 10 years. And in 2008, she took the Woman of Isagenix Award. She was given that award. That's awesome being recognized for that. And also Millionaire in Action. So I really respect the work that she's done, because I'm just in that beginning, right? Just that beginning where I'm just starting. And I'm really looking forward to hearing what Carol's going to teach us today. So let's all welcome Carol warmly with a round of applause. Thank you, Carol. So glad you're here.
Well, first of all, thank you for having me today. It's my honor, and for anybody checking in, I want to welcome you as well. There are no chances, I always say in life. Look what we walked into, and it's on this beautiful desk today. And everything starts with simply this. And as I started this business, I want you, first of all, to know that I will be very honest and upfront. I didn't have the dream, okay? What I needed and really wanted was just get my weight off, and I would be fine and happy. I've been a yo-yo dieter my entire life. And I got into a place in my life where it packed on and wouldn't leave like it used to. And so for me, it was when my good friend Jody Burr said, 7 to 15 pounds. And of course now for compliance, we can't say our time frame, but short time frame. I didn't believe her, okay? Because I was skeptical about everything, because that's where I was in my life, okay? So, but then the other side of me, and I say then my, ego brain said, so why not? Why not prove her wrong? And so that's when I set forward to do the cleanse and the wellness system very tight. And so that's what I tell people. I did it disciplined, determined, tight, to prove that I don't believe it's going to work. And to my surprise, on the 4th day, I literally started sleeping like I hadn't slept in ages. I had energy, and I knew something was shifting in my body because I was feeling really good. And by the end of this short time, I dumped 12 pounds. So there it was. Okay? So I say product works, okay? Business, no, I didn't need a business. I had a business. I worked for a pharmaceutical company and had so much work that I couldn't. I told Joni my brain cells won't take anything more in because I'm too busy, okay? So I continued to do the same old for 6 months. And you'll be surprised, I got the same results, which was traveling. My girls were with a nanny, and I really felt heartsick that, my life really was not going to be with them. It was going to be, hello, how was your day? And communicating with my parents are very close, as well as this nanny. And that reality, one night in a hotel room in Wenatchee, Washington, led me to really get really honest with, you know what? I hate what I'm doing. I hate going out of town. I hate my manager. And I knew there was something about this that worked. Obviously, people were asking me. I just had a fear base of, what is the business model about?
I'd never done it before. So in life, anything that we don't do, we're going to have a question. Some of us will go bigger with fear because single mom, what am I going to do in Spokane, Washington to hopefully make 6 figures? I couldn't imagine it. I mean, I had started looking, but I could not imagine what, I would have to leave Spokane, and I did not want to do that. And so, long and short, and I'll tell you the long story another day, but I created chaos with my company. And the bottom line is that night I did call Joni, and I said, Joni, tell me what you're making. And she said, Carol, I'm making $15,000 right now. But I'm not stopping there. I am going to 20, 30, 40, and 15. Of course, my brain, first of all, I said, I've been with this company 16 years, and I don't make $15,000. So there's
$15,000 a month.
Yeah, $15,000 a month.
Yeah.
Yes, sorry.
I was like, wow.
My details. $15,000 a month. Okay. And so what I figured is this was not working for me. And I would be here next week at the exact same time in the exact same hotel, probably the same room because I'd asked for the corner room and whatever. And so anyway, I figured at that time, I didn't know what I was going to do, but I knew that I could follow Joni, as you were all following Fearless Leaders.
Mm-hmm.
I could do what she was doing. Wasn't sure how, but honestly, you don't need to know all the how now. You need to make a decision based upon what is the end result, what is the end dream. Is it about having time freedom with your children? Is it your grandchildren? I think we're connected to our families. What's going to give us the hope of having something different? And I say most of us in life where we've come, our heads are down, working so hard, paying bills, trying to stay above water that we never lift our head, our eyes, things towards the sky to say, what is possible? What would I like to do today? What would I have of choice today? If time, money, and there were no appointments, what would I do? Well, you know what? Till Isagenix came to my world, I never lived that way, to think that way. I come from a very conservative family, raised in Montana. I have 8 siblings, hard-working family. I was the first to graduate from college. I was very proud of that. For me to work for a corporation was a really cool thing. Okay? So for me to make 6 figures in life, a year, I'm like, whoa, I am somebody. Okay? So I have to now tell people we have to really look at what is real in our life today and what do we see as possibility. And my whole goal now is to just show you this is possible. Okay? This is where I started. I'm in it 10 years. I'm still readjusting. I'm still looking at how can I do it different. Do I have opportunities now with my girls to do anything we choose? Yes, I do. The best part of life. And it's simple, okay? It's like this. Sophia, my 17-year-old, and she won't see this, so I can tell you this. Bad day Thursday. Staying up late doing homework the night before. Stress because of what's going on with school right now. She's up for a piano lesson early to make up because we went to Seattle last week. But the bottom line is she came out of that lesson in tears, okay? And part of it is because she didn't do the practicing. Part of it is anxiety about the day is just so full. Part of it is the fear of what's going on in chemistry. The whole thing was just because of fear. And my gift is to breathe. What do we need to do? Oh, and by the way, she had a cold sore inside. It just hurt. And so I just said, okay, well, let's not go to first period. Okay, so what do you need right now? Trying to empower her to say, what is your need? We can fill it. Okay, so right now she had this really bad pain. So let's go do something about it. Okay, I was so thrilled. She pulled up on her phone last night. Mom, I looked in natural remedies, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, oh, 2 points. She looked in the natural remedies. Yeah. So anyway, we stopped by Rite Aid because it's closer to school, and we were in the parking lot. She goes, Mom, there's probably nothing in here. I said, you're absolutely right. let's go to Mother's cupboard down the street. Closed. Okay, let's go down to Huckleberry's. And we go in and get our goods and all is well and get a few other things. And then just have time to talk about what's really going on. And those are the moments of treasure when they are really at all ages and stages. But teenage land, we did not send the book for me to totally get this. And so, but what I walk away with is just it's so simple that I don't have to think about, okay, I have to get to work. Honey, you have to go to school. I got to be somewhere. That's the treasure. Okay, so that's the gift. If I can give families the gift to say, we need breath today. Maybe we just need the day off. Yeah. It's hooky day, whatever. For all of us, you know. But who does that when you have a job? And what I did when I had my job was not right, but I did it, and that is I lied. A lot. I said they took away the spirit in us because we had to look at forging the game, which created liars out of us. Okay, so that's the gift that happens. And today, yes, go ahead and finish. Today's journey is just really to be informal. If you have something, I love the fact that you gave me a little bit of outline, Ken, because I always tell people, remind me what the question is, because I'll talk forever because I love what I do. And so I always get really clear with it. I'll tell you what you made today, because I love this business. I love this, the gift of Isagenix, and I really will talk forever. Yes, darling.
Can I round out your story just a little bit?
Yes.
Okay.
I'd love to have
So Carol, I was one of Carol's babysitters for a short time. So she doesn't know this part of the story. I was in her home. This was prior to Isagenix, when she couldn't be with her kids. And so when she was working a job, and I can tell you that this is a different person standing here than the person that I babysat for, because she doesn't have that stress anymore. Right. Because she can be with her kids and she's not being pulled down by the corporate world, and she can live the life that she was built to live, and to live from passion instead of, and purpose instead of a paycheck. And so she's a different person standing here than the person that I knew 15 years ago. No, not quite 15 years ago. We won't say that. It was probably 15 years ago. But I mean, she really is. She's put the work in, and she has a life now that she loves, and it emanates from her than what it was. You know, I can see a huge difference in who she is. And I recognized her when one of the first events that I went to, I recognized who she was, and I was like, that's the same. What is she doing? She was working, you know, I was a little confused. I was like, is this the same person? Then you put the picture up of your girls. And at the time, you only had Sophia. And so, anyway, so I just can round that out and say, I see a huge, this is like almost a different person standing here. Then, you know, she's just as beautiful as she was. Actually, I think she's more beautiful because you just don't have that, you know, that stress. So anyway, that's just
Well, and the reality is like, I think, was I nice to you?
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, I don't mean it like it's the stress. I guess I didn't mean that in like that.
No, because the amount of stress that is in life, you know, sometimes you're like, I'm a tirade running. And you just sometimes don't know how you show up. And, you know, with all the things you're trying to cope with. And, you know, sometimes it is because I was single, trying to dance between, you know, my parents. And at that time, am I going to go to China to get another child to be with Sophia? You know, it's so many things that I think back on. And I just think, you know, I'm so grateful for the journey and everybody that assisted my journey. And so my goal is to help, if I can, make it be easier from things that I have learned. And I continue to learn. But there's some things I'd love to share for you to like, bypass that. So you don't have to drag people along. So thank you.
Well, and you take time for people now, and that's one of the things that I notice is that before there wasn't really a relationship, you know. It was, you know, I was there to do a task, and there wasn't a relationship because there wasn't time, right? There wasn't time for that. So, but now I bumped into you at Trader Joe's and we stood there and talked for like 45 minutes. You know what I mean? So it's so different is that, you know, there's a relationship base, and, you know, you care about people, and I'm sure you did before. I don't mean that, but, you know, it's the difference, you know, because you live a life at a different pace now because you own it. Instead of being owned.
Own it.
Well, and the other thing, working on a Sunday, I cannot express to you Sunday afternoon for me, you guys. It took me, now I'm 10 years out, it took me such an adjustment on Sunday afternoons to go, okay, I really don't have to be somewhere Monday morning. I don't have to take my Sunday afternoon and prepare and load my car and whoops, get the computer work that I didn't do. So Sundays were never joy for me. It was always just a task of, am I ready? You know, am I getting out of town early? Do I have things lined up with kids? And I think it was Susan Sly. Somebody talked about, I listened to so many podcasts, but I think she talked about Sundays and how Sundays, you know, can be very joyous, but for many of us, they are not. They are for me now, but Sunday was always a bummer for me, you know. So I am like, Sunday, oh, it's a great day. It took me a while to figure out, oh, it's just like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, you know. And so what a gift is, yeah, I can say. And so my goal is simply to be able to share the gift and give you some ideas of how hopefully your lives can change. And now, Ken, what did I do with my questions? See?
Did we bury them?
I might have buried it. And there are some things in my... Okay, who's got the questions?
Are they handwritten?
No.
Or they're typed out? They're what? The agenda that.
Oh, yeah.
Can everyone hear okay?
There they are.
Can everyone hear Karen? Or Carol? I don't know. There's a lag, so I don't know if we're getting anything back.
I just want to make sure they can hear you.
Okay. All right, so let's start with retention. Okay. People are going to come to our lives, and people are going to exit our lives. Okay. So with retention, what I want you to know is to begin again with the end in mind. Okay. My goal today, first of all, I walk out the door always. Who am I going to meet? That first of all, I'm going to help change their life. Okay. They're going to love this nutrition, and they're really going to love the business with me. Okay, so I step out the door with intention every morning. Who's going to be the gifts that come to my life? Now, not everybody, I say, needs, or everybody does need nutrition. Not everybody chooses it today. But it is my goal to at least introduce it to them today. And then, in the name of vaccinate, meaning they may not choose it today, but if I ask them for referrals, as well as ask them when they choose to change their life, will they come back to me? Because I'm building a great team, and I would love to have them involved. So I always ask for permission when I'm talking to people. I never jump and dump information. If it's somebody new, I'm creating a relationship, and I'm going to just give you some examples. I think we're all starving in life for compliments, and sincere compliments. And I love to compliment people on, oh my gosh, I love your boots, or I love, what you're wearing, or, something that resonates you sincerely, because I also look for people who are looking up and who really have a feeling of, it's just so sweet to see this, because you're just like, you're here, girl, And so I love that kind of energy in people. And so they're usually looking for me. That's how I look at it, okay? So I create a relationship, whatever that's like, and we start talking. And if we have time to stay in conversation, I'll stay in conversation. What are your kids, or how many kids, or what do you like to do when you're not, or I'm skiing yesterday and, I meet somebody on the lift and, we start talking, and honestly, I'll tell you the good and the bad, okay? So this guy is sharing with me, and then he asks what I do, and I said, I'm a network marketer. I represent a great company. And he goes, oh, I've heard of it. I'm like, great. He goes, my wife's been thinking about something like that. And I said, perfect. I said, you know what? I'm embarrassed to say I have no cards on me. And so there I am, 10 years out, still going, okay, Carol, always be prepared. Right? And I usually am. And that's another success piece. Always be prepared. When I'm in a hotel, I go down to the gym, always have a little bag with some cards, some samples, and information, or something you can get their information. Okay? So, and my girls, they sometimes laugh at me, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to go meet somebody down in the gym today. I have intention. And by God, when it happens, they're like, oh, no. But be prepared. And so I laughed at myself yesterday, where are the cards? I had my phone with me, but unfortunately, I didn't have any glasses that I could see. So I was too embarrassed to go.
Hand it to him and say, here, put your stuff in.
She was with some buddies, like when they got off, they were ready to go.
Yeah.
So anyway, everything is always a learning opportunity, is what I'm trying to say. Okay. And if I don't have time, then what I'll do is I'll compliment them in that, you know what? I can tell you're the type of person I'd love to have tea with sometime. Can we exchange information? And if there's somebody who, like, I've already touched, what I do, I just point blank and say, listen, I want you to go to isamovie.com and I want you to check it out. And I'd like to connect with you. Can I connect with you either later this evening when your kids are in bed? Or if, they don't have kids, I'm like, what works for you as far as can I connect back? And when I connect back, I do ask them, what did you love about, Isamovie? So that what resonates with them, I can just move there. If somebody says, you know what, I didn't know about this kind of business, I'm thinking, hallelujah, And so anyway, but I'm always asking them what resonates with you, so that I can really tailor that to them. Okay. Now for retention, you are looking for you. That is the bottom line. Okay. And there's a lot of people who are just going to use product, and there's a lot of people that will not have the endurance and the discipline and the determination that you have. And so if you just know that you're going to have to walk through a lot of doors, and you're going to have to talk to a lot of people, and it's no big deal. It's no big deal to be rejected, if that's how you want to say it. I just say, as Jimmy Smith says, no means they just don't know enough about the business. And I really feel that way now, given my experience, that they just don't know. Okay? And as he also said, the no's built his character, the yeses built his business, the no's built his character. And for us, as I'll relate so much to kids, and I'll relate to Ken's life in the gym, because we want our kids to be able to have no in their face and go, no big deal, I'm going anyway. It's up to us. No.
Yeah.
And there's that dance too that we want them to have, be able to sit down and discuss. Okay, here's my side, here's your side, where do we meet in between? But when it comes to teenagers not being approved by somebody because whatever, you don't have the right gene label on or whatever, we want them to be able to deflect that and no big deal. So how about us mentoring that? Because there are going to be a lot of people who don't have our energy, don't have the light, that don't have the ability, really, I say, to look up. They're still looking down, trying in the trenches to get it done. And that's okay. I just say, you just bless them. And like what I do is, I'll say, Jackie, I can appreciate, what, this isn't for you today. No problem. I want to honor where you're at. But Jackie, do you know anybody who's looking for health or an opportunity to create a secondary income stream source, because I'm building this business and we're excited about where we're going. And if you happen to come back to a place where this resonates with you, will you come back and see me? Because I'd love to have you on my team. Mm-hmm. So I'm complimenting and allowing her to be where she's at. I'm asking her for referrals. And so I've had people go, why would I want to refer my sister when I'm not going to get help?
Right.
So, you know, there's all kinds of different dimensions there. But I always ask for referral, which sometimes is just an exercise for me to stay in it, not to quit and not to let, you know, Jackie get the best of me, for me to step back. I have to step forward and go, you know what, it's no problem. I can appreciate this isn't where you're at today. Here's what I know in Spokane, Washington. Jackie's going to walk into an event next week, and she's going to see somebody or hear somebody about Isagenix because it's so well known. Mm-hmm. So that's why I want to try and, you know, circle her back. Oh, I said that. And I come back to Jackie. At least, you know, at least that's my attempt, is to bring them back to you. Okay. So, and then I cannot speak highly enough of, if you're going to create a leader has to have vision before it actually happens. So the actions of getting yourself, somebody said here, am I going to Celebration? Buy the ticket. And it's simply this example. In order to get here today, I had to put the car in gear. Okay? I had to get it out of gear to drive the path to get here. Okay? If I would have stood still, I would have been in my car with all this goods here, but I'm sitting there. And so if you know your destination, okay, I'm going there. Okay, now I got to put my car in gear, or myself in gear, to how am I going to get that? Do I need to line up, you know, kids coverage? Do I need to create some more income? How can I create more income? Maybe I need to raise my hand and say, you know what, I can do A, B, C. Does anybody need that to be done? You know, I'm a computer person, or I can watch your kids, or whatever. Visionary people will do whatever it takes to get the job done. Okay? And the thing is, in life, if you raise your hand and say, you know what, I'm willing to exchange this, the universe, people, everybody around you will come and support that. Because we are all looking for somebody to assist us too. I can't tell you how many things I can use assistance in. Somebody came to me, I'm like, girl, you're in, you know? So don't be afraid to raise your hand and share. And I always say that about successful people too. You know, and again, this is mentoring to my girls. I'm like, if you want a career, or if you want something, go find somebody who's doing it. And then you ask them for an interview, 15 minutes. Can I sit down with you and ask you what you did to create the success in your life? It's just, there's a whole lot of guessing and such. And one thing you're going to find in Isagenix, that people are generous. And so if you just want to know, raise your hand and go find them. And it looks like this. That was one of my successes when I started. When I decided, okay, this was it. Okay, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm just going to follow Joni everywhere she goes. And I did. I mean, I just went to every meeting. Waldenberg, Joni Burr, you know. I mean, everybody knew Joni. So I just felt like Joni Burr, from Washington. And, you know, I went to the top income earners. And I just said, you know, why did you choose Isagenix? What was it about Isagenix? And I told him I was very new, and I've not been in network marketing. And the resounding theme was visual, emotional. And then it was, the compensation plan is unlike anything out there. And this was from seasoned vets of network marketing. Okay, so these guys and gals all had experiences. And so I figured, okay, what can I learn from them? And then created relationships to where then Jimmy Smith, he's now 86, but back then, I created a relationship so that I had his phone number, that if I really needed him as an entrepreneur, I could call Jimmy up and say, Jimmy, I got this entrepreneur who's with this other company. I don't know this other company. And he knew them all. Or he still does know them all, okay? So I say, my job is to connect you all to people so that you can have relationships with whoever you need or whatever you need, okay? And so that's the goal. When you go to these meetings, be very okay with going up to somebody and saying, hey, I have a question for you. And then I also went to them and I said, okay, you want 2 bullet points or golden nuggets. What wouldn't you do again? Because again, they have the experience. I don't need to do what they're not going to do again. And I will tell you a resounding theme, and I will pass this from my experience, is this: do not drag people. Do not drag your family. Do not drag your friends. Everybody will have their own day of reckoning of, oh yeah, she's not so nuts anymore. And they'll come along. Okay, my very, very dear friend. It took her 10 years and she's on board now. Okay?
Wow.
And it's okay. It's okay. She was very busy, career woman, health crashed. Okay. Her timing is now. And here's the gift. She kisses me and bows to me because I knew there would be a day. And when I joined, I said, give me your credit card.
I knew it.
I'm going to give you a business unit. And you don't even know what that is, and nor do you care what that is, because she was too busy. And so she kept it active.
Wow.
10 years.
10 years.
That was
Wow.
smart of her to take that chance.
And so guess where she's at? I mean, she's all in my business. I said, yeah. And she's like, oh my God. Okay, so loved ones, people that you want in your life, they may not know today. If you can say, it's on your credit card.
You did that.
Oh, give me your credit card. I want you to understand this is an opportunity that you don't need today, but you'll choose down your path. I did that with another one of my girlfriends who's a single mom, adopted a baby, has my heart because I was there when that baby was born in the hospital. Anyway, worked for Coldwater Creek, San Juan, Idaho. Okay, guess what?
Out of business.
She went down. And guess what? She has a position, and it's very nice. So I took care of my friends, took care of my parents. Okay, put them in initially. So just protect, and Joni taught me that. This is a protection of those you love. And if you have children, put them in at 17 as preferred members, and then switch them over to associate. Why? Because we're building anyway. So when they come alive at 18, at least they have some nice banking and volume and such. So retention. Events will create the thrill of what is possible. Okay? You have to keep your hands up in the air. As Ken has, and it's always, I'm here. Susan's always here. We will always be here for those that are like, I'm ready. I need this. I want this. And that's the way it is with your children and in life. Anything we say yes to, the universe is going to come and support us. Okay? It's just the natural way that life is done. Okay, so we are going to have down days. I don't tell people that, this is network marketing, not net play. And there are days that we are, I'm just honest. And that's when you call your friend and go, not sure about this. Tell me why I'm doing this. And that's when your friend, first of all, will understand, Yeah, there are going to be big ones, and there's going to be highs, and there's lows. It's life, okay? This is no different, okay? I don't know about you, but in my pharmaceutical business, a lot of highs, a lot of lows, okay? What is expected out of everybody that is in a career path or anything that you want to come ahead of, master, is continuing education. And I relate it to pharmaceutical. When we were constantly being tested, we were constantly having to be on view. When we went to meetings, we had to present in front of everybody, and we were judged and we were graded. So if you weren't prepared, guess what? Okay, so this really is no different, only you get to drive the ship. Okay, if you continue to educate yourself on the diversity of not only yourself, the business, the profession, the markets, what's driving the markets and such, you will create success. End of story. So I always tell people there's no free lunches in life. We all gotta, we gotta row our boat. Okay, we'll all get in the boat to help if you ask for it. That's the great news. In my prior profession, that wasn't true. I had to be better than you and you and you, and I couldn't tell you what I was doing.
Right.
I had to shine.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, but here I get to hey, here's my secrets. I can't tell you how much of this stuff is from all these other experts, because it's just say, you know what, you get to use what works for you and toss away what doesn't. So that's the gift of retention, is and not giving up on somebody, because Joni saw in me before I saw it, before I could believe, and so I will tell you, there's an instinct that we all have about, okay, and it's fun, because when you meet people, it's the heart connection. It's like, oh, he doesn't even know what he's got. Yeah, I know. Yeah. And that's so fun, because it's like, oh, when he figures it out, it's going to be so exciting, But I have to kind of be cool right now.
Yeah.
It's so hard. I'll overwhelm him,
Yeah.
And so, and I'll give you an example. The meeting Thursday night, I brought a beautiful woman who I've been just tapping on in the health club. She's an athlete, and great legs, and she's an athlete, okay. And her fiance is a manager at one of the moves up north. And he actually connected me to her when he was at the South one. However, I met with her, and this is literally 6 months ago, gave her samples, and she accepted samples and everything, and it just wasn't her timing, okay? And we'd see each other in the gym, and I'd go, I just know she's so great. But I'm just like, cool, and then created the relationship of just talking to her, and then I'd bring her up, try to do a shot. And then it was a relationship, and I'd see her, and I'm like, we'd talk about the training session there, and when I text her, it would always be, just let me know, when your time is, I'm very patient. And so she had a house that was being renovated. She's young. She's getting married in July. So there's a lot going on in her life. Okay. Had moved from Seattle, teaching job here. So I just know a lot going on. Got to kind of wait till some things settle, have a breath. And so I got a message from her a week and a half ago that said, when's the next meeting? I'm like, it's Thursday, and I'm thinking, it could be a more perfect meeting, And she shows up, and she is just like thrilled to death. And she's so kind and gentle and sweet, and yet I know this woman is a tiger, and she's already thinking about who she's bringing on board and such. So anyway, that's the excitement, and I know at this time she doesn't even have a clue.
Right.
Yeah, clue. Right. I'm like, she's so awesome, and she so gets this new app. Thank you, Ken. Presentation Thursday night. Incredible presentation.
As an athlete.
Oh yeah, so especially. Yeah. So again, that's it's a footprint. The seeds you plant today. And I mean today, they may be 5, and God forbid they're 10 years out. Okay, but they are the seeds, and you just keep watering. Okay, for somebody who's like, it's not their time, I'm just asking you, do you mind if, I think there's something there, I'll ask them, do you mind if I just check back with you in a month, take you to tea, just keep you, updated with what's going on. I really feel like, okay, they got it, but they just don't know it. And then it's also talking about the weather and the kids, and it's not just I'm going to get you. You can't just go. You cannot be desperate. Okay, We have the gift, and we will change lives if people choose to put this in their bodies, okay? And confidence is a journey, and I will tell you flat out, when I started, not confident. Why? Because don't ask me about the pyramid, because I supposedly was successful. And that's one thing you have to get over with people. We walk around with titles, and society tells us we're successful with certain things in life. And guess what? It's just a story. It's just a system that we bought into. And what Isagenix has blessed me with is take a look at every system that somebody taught and told you about and peel it apart and say, does it really work for me? Do I really believe it? Who told me that? You know? And does that work for me? And so that's what Isagenix has given me, is the opportunity to go, okay, maybe my belief system back here as a conservative Montana family, 9 kids, maybe I really could have more than what my parents mentored to me. Of course, they did the best they could with what they knew, but I have some new information here. And you better believe I'm seeding mine with big vision, because that's what I want mine to move forward with. So, I'm not sure why I got on that, but
It's all good.
Good.
Yeah. Okay, so in a nutshell, that's retention. Interview, important. And there is a large interview in the back of our isagenixbusiness.com. And I will sit down with my new person and do the large interview. Now, why? Because I think she's going to go for it. If somebody that I think maybe they're not going to quite be there, I might just do a smaller interview with them. And it looks like this. Find out what they want in their life that's different. If it resounds around, God, I'd love to be able to go to my kids' soccer games, at 3 o'clock, but I have to work. If it's that vacation, oh my gosh, I'd love to take my kids on that Disneyland cruise. Listen to what, what do they want in their life? And then remind them when it comes time to being difficult and hard that, you know what? I heard you mention to me that priority to be with your children and have the gift of being flexible in the afternoon is a priority of yours. And I want to just remind you that that is possible. It's just learning a new way and going and talking to another person to create that opportunity. We are literally one person away of somebody who can change our lives, and vice versa. We change their lives, and that's the gift. It is such a mutual exchange. But those that really get it to say, I'm willing to take the action, those are the people whose lives will be new, brand new. Okay? It is nothing without the action. So the dream, the goal that sits in the back seat of the car today, if I didn't put that car in gear, I'm literally sitting still and my dream board's in back and I'm going nowhere. So I have to take the actions to put the car in gear and take the actions of my life to make my goals and my dreams come true. Because it's just a board if I put a dream board together and I don't say, now here are my action steps and here are my deadlines. And by the way, Ken, I'm going to commit to you so that you have me and I have you to really hold me accountable. Because we need accountability to make action happen. Does that mean that we're not we're not going to make it at days? Yeah. Some days we're not going to make it. But for me to simply say, you know what, I didn't make it today. I didn't make my 3 calls, got sidelined. Yeah, lots of things going on with the girls, but the reality is I did not make it. And tomorrow I have intention that I'm going to do it this way. I'm going to do it different to get a different result. That's what I'm always telling my girls. So what will we do different so the result does change? And so maybe that's getting up a little earlier. Maybe that's working on your lunch hour. It's just something has to shift to get a different result. And I relate a lot to the gym. I can go to the gym every day, but if I do the same workout every day, I'll maintain, okay? I'm not going to grow any stronger. I'm not going to get any stronger cardio to be able to ski faster. So I have to do it different to shape my body up, to become stronger, to have more endurance. So it is in life that those things parallel each other. So what are you doing different is the question. And if you need ideas of different, then raise your hand and say, you know what, I did A, B, C, and D. You know, what other things did you do? Because sometimes we hit walls with, I don't know what else to do. I did everything I knew. And that's when you go through an event.
Yeah. Right.
Okay, Carol, you had said, going back to the ask for the 2 golden nuggets, and you said the first one you tell people is don't drag people. What's the second?
Yeah. The second one would be, in my business, I felt that I thought everybody should come along today, you know, and there's a little bit of connection with dragging. I talked way too much. I said way too much to where I'm sure people were like, oh my God, you know, we're talking a storm coming in the door here. Because I was so excited and I needed to build. I'm the breadwinner. And while I didn't really know how I was going to do it, I was doing everything. And, you know, kind of feeling like there was a panic in me at times when I started, okay? And so don't panic and don't act desperate would be what I would say. And confidence comes in stages. And so be okay with, you know, I'm not really sure what I'm doing. So here's what I'm going to do, Jackie. I'm going to take Carol with me. Because we are so powerful when we just lock arms with somebody. And it just takes away that anxiety, that angst, because you know what? Miss something. Carol misses it. Jackie's saying it. So it's so great. Lock arms. And somebody may have more confidence today than you, and vice versa. Because you know things I don't know. I can tell. You know a whole lot more than I know right there, girl. So I'm really uncertain about that. So we all have gifts. And we all have things that we need to look at learning. So, you know, together we're really unstoppable. So that's the good news. Okay. And posturing and really ultimately getting very clear with belief. Okay. And today your belief may not be a 10, but what you can do is you can borrow my belief. Okay. That crazy woman, she just thinks I can do that. And you will. But for a while, you need to lock arms with those who have that 10 going on. Because I can look at anybody, because I know society has burnt into us some false statements. Give me a title, give me this, and I'm somebody. Well, I hope so, but really no. Really no. We're all just humans. And the reality is that I know I have a huge gift and a secret. And inside, when you start making money you've never made, there's this feeling of, whoa, it's just an inner strength of, you know what? When I get somebody who's really high on themselves or arrogant or this, I'm inside thinking, okay, I could really help you. And, you know, my buddies in pharmaceutics, they're like, oh, I met one on the plane, whatever, last week, whatever, 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she's got it going on. I'm like, well, then they're done. It ain't so going on, girl, and I know it, but you're going to put on a really good face, you know? And I know the whole story, you know? And I'm just like, I was there. And so it's just like, I kind of get a little bit of humor out of the stories we tell ourselves. And ultimately, I get to walk away going, really? I'm the one with the life of freedom.
So many people don't know there's a better way. I mean, that's it. Like, I'd never heard of network marketing before. So I didn't know. So how long, I have a question for you. So how long did you like just quit your job and start Isagenix, or did you do both for a while together?
All right, so this is another whole long story.
I've never asked you that
I know.
before. I don't know why.
So when I say collision, it was like, okay, long and short is I wanted to job share, and they were doing it in other markets. And of course, my manager wasn't going for it because they have to support that. So I was becoming more disillusioned. And then the deal in life is I hated what I did, but I thought that I could job share. At least I could be with the girls, okay? Didn't happen. So as I was sharing this story for the first time with my Sophias, we're driving to Seattle this past weekend. Because I know now she can get the picture. When they were younger, I'm like, oh gosh, I can't tell them the whole story because they're too young, and they will create this, and then they'll say that at school. And so, school, they hear everything. And so I said, Sophia, you need to hear the story. He said, so what did I do? I didn't have the guts to leave. So I created Sabotage. And here's what that looked like. So I dented the company car, ran it into something. Okay.
On purpose?
No.
Oh, I thought you know.
No. Like backing out and boom. But in the boom, you're like supposed to call and like, okay, I dented the car and it has to go in and be fixed. I had other things going on. I was going on vacation. Okay. So that was the next week, and I'm like, I can't get one more thing in. You know, by the time I coordinate the girls, I don't have time for a bumper car. And so when I got back on vacation, I lied. Which was total sabotage. I lied about what I did, that, you know what, I took it in, and I just figured the car, a mechanic, or not mechanic, but shop, that I could figure that out. Well, it backfired on me, which was just fine. At the time, it wasn't, but it was just fine because I basically lied, and can't do that. And so it's so great to be able to tell you all that I was fired. And I'm so thrilled to be able to tell you that it was the best thing in the whole life. And I will tell you honestly, when he talked to me, he said, would you pull your car over? You know, because we were on the phone. And as they gave me the news, of course I was like, oh, bad news. You know? And as I drove away, there was like this relief. Don't know what I'm going to do. I hated that. But I didn't have the guts to say, you know what, I'm out of here. So every crisis can have a growing opportunity. And that's what I was telling Sophia, is that, you know what, if it's meant to be, somehow the universe is going to bring it to you. And if I could ever find him now, I would so thank him. And I'm going to have lunch with all my pharmaceutical buddies in 2 weeks. We're all getting together. And, you know, they're all either out of jobs, doing alternative jobs. I mean, it's a crazy, chaotic profession. And I'm like, breathing. I had lunch with one of my buddies just last week, and she listens to me, and she's just like, Carol, you're amazing. You get a choice in your life, whereas they're so owned by corporate America. And it's so unsteady and such. So again, I tangent you guys, but what I want you to know is there will be fears in your life, and you get to open the next door to walk through it. And I will tell you, I hope that this is your door of opportunity. I will do everything in my power to give you the foundation to have strength to stay the course, because it is real. And that's my goal after 10 years of the winding path. It took me 2 years That's where we're going with this, see? I've run about
Uh-huh.
2 years to replace, I tell Sophia, supposedly 6-figure. I always landed on 6-figure because once you got 6 figures, they'd always find a way to weasel you back down because, oh, we got to fix this so they don't. So I say between 80 and 100, which was a lot of money for me, you guys. 2 years to get there. And there was a lot of backstepping, forward stepping. I remember calling Joni one day, going, Joni, I think I better go with you. I'm just too scared.
Yeah.
Go back, what? To what I know?
Yeah.
Okay. Did I like it? No. But it's what I know.
Mm-hmm.
So that is where the human nature will take us.
Mm-hmm.
And bless her heart, she told me she's about killed. It's like, all this work I've done with you, and you're going to leave me? So anyway, she told me that later, you know. So then I also remember the time when I literally cycled 5 times. I'd taken my babes over to the other side of the state for a celebration of adoption. And it was a camp. It was on one of the islands. I can't remember. But I was, fairly new in the game. But I was gone for the weekend. And I was driving back. And Joni called me. Carol, you cycled 5 times. I'm like, this is real. 5 times. And I was over there at a camp. And that was like, this is real. Because I said, Joni, should I go home and sit in my office? That's how I was used to doing business. You're always, and I'm like, oh, I was gone and cycled 5 times. This is amazing. Mm-hmm. So start small, 5 will lead to 6, and you celebrate each one.
Yeah.
As if it were $1 million.
Yeah.
Because it is the shift of your life.
Right on. Yeah, absolutely.
I love that.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Yes, on follow-up. Okay. One of my Achilles heels. Okay. Let's go now. Let's talk now. Okay. But you have to understand that people don't move like we move. And it is the endurance to follow up. And it's also, if you have an instinct, to stay there with it, because they may not, okay? But just to follow up, to make sure you're making notes. So I'll give you an instance. I was at the convention last weekend, so anymore, I take the back of my notebook. Of course, my intention is I'm going to meet people. Oh, there they are. And I put it on the back, because they'll get lost in here. Right. So it's right there to go to, and that's your follow-up to get it done. Okay? And have something with you all the time, a little notebook in your purse. I know a lot of people will put it on their phones and such. Or write down. But anyway. And then put a date, put a time. She wasn't there. And so then that goes to the next day. So put it in the daytime to follow up. People and big leaders, many of them will tell you that it took 50 and 60, and years. And was it Michael, Dr. Colgan was 6 years?
Yeah.
Michael Klaus?
Michael Klaus.
Yeah. So don't be disillusioned. People will come up to this game when they're ready, but they will not forget you. And Warren Lance with either Dr. Klaus, Michael Klaus, or Dr. Colgan, which I think it was Colgan he met with, and said, I just want to update you of what's new. That was it. Let's meet for tea, and I just want to update you and keep you abreast of what's new with this company. I'm really excited. 6 years. So follow-up is key. And paint the picture. Hopefully today I've painted the picture of my life. Now I have to paint the picture of your life. What would it look like if you could go to those games with your babes? 3 o'clock. Here's what it feels like to me when I get to, jump at whatever Sophie and Olivia's desires are. So you kind of burn that in their heart of, okay, it's possible, you know. Don't let them forget what their picture is. How much time on my business a day? I'm doing it full time now. And for the most part, at this stage, I do gear my life around my children. So we get up, you know, breakfast, or anymore we're doing a motivational 15 minutes in the morning so that they can get the same idea of you set the intention of your day. They go to school. I take them to school for the most part. I coordinate with my parents as well. And then I head right to the gym. And again, my gym is always on and looking, who am I gonna meet, you know? And so when I'm done with the gym, then I head home, and I'm in full workforce, okay? Often I will have my day timer full of, okay, I got a 3-way here, I got to follow up with compliance here. So my day's going to look a little bit different because I'm in a leadership position, and believe me, I've been in it 10 years. So I spend a lot of time on the phone doing 3-ways for people, follow-ups when there's hassles and connecting people. But I always I'm always recruiting, you guys, even at 10 years. Okay, so I want you to know. And I think all successful leaders are, but I can't imagine not, because I can't keep my mouth shut. I love what I do. So, I'm just like, it becomes so fun. But the fun becomes also knowing that I don't really have to. This really is what I love to do. Mm-hmm. And so, if I really didn't want to, right now I don't have to. And that's crazy, okay? Do I take a day, if I can, like for instance, okay, yes, this conference that was in Seattle last week, it came up the week before. I can do it. I thought, here you go. I thought the week before. Oh, there's some great speakers. I think we need to go. Oh, I don't want to drive to Seattle. I'll check to see what airlines are. Well, by then it was like $600 a piece. I'm like, right. Well, I'm still a smart woman. Okay? And so we drove over. I took Thursday off, took them out of school Friday, and we did the conference. Okay? Wow. So this is the type of thing that my children are not going to get this in the square box of their life in school. Right? I'm not a homeschooler, but it is my opportunity to give them life out of the box. And it's these kind of mentors and coaches.
That's so awesome.
Yeah. Okay. So, yes. So, Thursday and Friday were gone, and we came back Monday. So, I just schedule life out. That's the choice I have. And when I'm in Seattle, I'm just thinking, when we talk about gratitude every night, I'm like, oh, I'm so happy I can be here. Not have to be checking in with a manager or somebody who's giving me a yay or nay. And I will say this because it's just in my heart. As I came to the other side, awakenings happen around who am I? And I can honestly tell you, universe never ever meant for me to live in a box and lights. Right. And was never meant to take orders from people such as managers that in my profession were always men. Right. And I always made less than my counterparts. Now, call it as it is. It's a crazy world out there. But I say now, never meant to be there. I'm meant to fly. I'm meant to have freedom. And I think we all are. But when I look back, I go, oh my God, I was never meant to be here. And that's why it was so uncomfortable and such. What's really necessary? Action. End of story. Okay? And the action is this. Hey, Susie, I met you yesterday, and I was just checking in to see if you checked isamovie.com. Oh, didn't have time. No problem. Are you going to have time? Are you on your computer right now? Oh, perfect. Why don't you go ahead and dial it up, and I'll call you back. Give me 10 minutes. Okay? If I can get them to do it right now, it's great. Get people about action right now. Okay? And then again, ask them what resonated with them. it is really the action, it's the follow-up, and it's in being able to bring them to meetings. Because, you know, like for myself to bring Cherie Thursday night, it was so wonderful. So if we can just bring them to whatever meeting so they can see that, oh, my, these are cool people here, you know, we're cool, you know. Balancing family, self, and fun. Okay. Learning curve, I think I'm sure all of us, but us women, I think, tend to be really like carry the weight of the world and then, you know, take care of ourselves. So whatever it looks like, whether it's activity, meditation, a walk, whatever speaks to you, I think we've got to schedule it in our lives because we're happier. And when we fill our bucket, then we really can give to those around us in a way that is so generous and so, really, I believe, life-altering. But if we're left on the back burner, everything is slanted because we know we have not taken care of ourselves. And it's the very thing that we want our children to learn in life, is that what you need, okay? Listen to the heartbeat. And sometimes that's really all it is. It's just taking some breath. So for me, I have to be in the gym and I have to be moving and having somebody be stronger than or whatever, you know. Like I love being in a class because I'm like, oh, I gotta go further and faster, you know. So everybody knows what drives them, okay? I always say, one of the reasons I have a coach or a trainer is because I want him or her to be better than me. So I want to mentor after people who are going to help me reach to be, you know, that bar has to be reached to get different. And so I do compare it to, you know, somebody who's going to make me work hard and fast. Organizing tips.
Then we'll have in Susan's question. No, she can give you tips.
I wouldn't do it. I wasn't my
She's
question.
the
No, that was actually,
organization queen.
She is. She is. Bless her heart. And so that's where I say, none of us have everything.
Yeah.
It is something I'm always reaching for. As you can see, this is how I like my life.
Yeah.
Okay. And I really haven't gone to a lot of it, but hey, it's there if I need it. Okay. I'm in constant study of how can I be more effective with doing 1 step versus 5 steps. Okay. And so I really do believe that, Susan, you can give us some golden nuggets of how you run your business, because she absolutely is the queen. And so I would welcome Susan, you just step up here and give us some of your wisdom.
Sure, yeah. They probably all heard it. We train every week. But
Okay.
That's one of the things.
Yay.
Yeah. Hear it again.
So do you have specific questions about particular pieces of your business?
I do. As far as when you, how do you know you're so good at following up with us and saying, oh, here's how many things you have and how many cycles? And I'm like, okay, how do you know that? So that kind of, do you have a tickler file telling you?
Yeah,
who's
so
what?
actually Isagenix gives you that tickler file. So it's in your own back office. So every day, first thing in the morning, everybody should be looking in their own back office. And if you go in and you look under team, which is along the banner along the top, and then my team, it will pull up all your consultants. It will pull up everybody in your tree. And you can see if there's somebody in a grace period, which when I'm following up with people, a grace period, or you know so-and-so on your team is on a grace period. It lets you see how your team is doing in terms of cycles. And so maybe at one of the next trainings at my house, maybe you will pull up somebody's back office and we can go through and I can show you where to find that. But it's really important because when you can get a status check on where you are and what you need to accomplish, or if you're really close to your next milestone, then you know what you need to do, or you can call me and say, what do I need to do? But you can also help your team out better. So as your teams grow, as your teams grow, you're going to want to check that daily because you're going to want to help them be their best and accomplish their own goals. So that's why I'm following up with people.
Okay.
So what I'm really impressed, I really like what you've made it. You've made your own little dry erase board.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so your own little tracking system,
Yeah.
aside from the back office, which is an amazing tool, but she's got her own little dry erase board. So tell us a little bit about what that means to you and how you use it.
Yeah, so like most people in this room, I'm juggling kids. I feel like I have 2 full-time jobs. So I feel like I do Isagenix full-time, and then I have a full-time job outside of Isagenix too. And so for me, time efficiency is going to make it or break it for me. And so I have a whiteboard. And on that whiteboard, I have my board of directors. That's my current business builders that I'm in touch with every day. So I can look at it at any moment and think, oh my gosh, I haven't talked to Ken for a while. I need to give him a call and see how it's going. I have my future board of directors, a list of those people who I need to follow up with. And as Carol was saying, just say, hey, it's been a while. I'd love to get together, have tea, update you on what's going on with the company. Because in my heart of hearts, I know they're going to be on my board of directors someday. And so I have that list so I can look at it. If I have 5 minutes between a call, those are the people I'm reaching out to. I have my current leads, so people who I've met at events or networking meetings or people who I've seen on Facebook that I need to follow up with. So these are just an ongoing list of people who I add to, take off, following up with. And then I have a list of my current people who are just getting started with a 30-day system or whatever, who I'm cleanse coaching. So I know I need to stay in touch with them. And then I usually have the list of upcoming events that I've got. So at any given moment, I can look at any one of those lists, and I'm constantly going back and forth between an Isagenix call and a call for my public relations business. But if I've got 15 minutes, I can look at that list and say, or any of those lists and say, okay, I need to follow up with X, Y, and Z, or send these people a text, or, with today's event, I could look at it and say, okay, these are my business builders that I need to be inviting, and I just send texts to all of you.
You're a great communicator like that.
Yeah, so that just helps me stay organized so that I'm not wasting that rare 5 minutes that I have. So I'm not thinking, what should I be doing with this 5 minutes? I know because it's all written down there.
Susan, can you talk about, say I just enrolled Linda, or you just enrolled Linda. So talk about your first week. There's the interview that you're going to do, the welcome call.
Yeah.
You're going to walk through the back office. Can you just walk us through? I know you have a mental process that you go through, and I know all this because you've taught me. It's not that you haven't, but I just want to hear it again.
Yeah. So I think everybody does it differently, but I do. I know exactly what I'm going to do. So when I enroll somebody and I let them know you're going to get a rapid fire of emails right away from Isagenix, one welcoming you, you're going to get a receipt, and you're going to get a notification of your next auto ship. And I said, so when you get those, let's talk through them in real time. In the meantime, I have my own welcome letter that I send them, that even though they get the one welcome letter from Isagenix, this one also includes their password and their username and a link to their website and how to get in there, along with Isamovie and all the different sites that they should get. And so once they get that, I usually get on the phone with them and help them log into their back office for the first time and kind of walk through all the tabs along the top so they know how to do an order, where to find information about the products, all of those sorts of things. And then I add them, if I haven't already, I add them to our Facebook group. So I make sure they're in either Balanced Bodies Nutrition or Lean Body for Life, one of those two groups. If they're a business builder, then I put them in Together We Will and Isagenix, or one or the other.
So you know that because you've done the interview with them? Is that how you establish whether or not they have any interest?
Yes. Yes. And so, until they aren't a business builder, I don't put them into the business groups. Yeah. And then I just kind of, I stay in touch with them either via the Facebook group or just one-off texts, like while they're waiting on their order. I feel like it's really important to keep people super excited while they're waiting for their box to come in. And then, so that they're, you know, because there's kind of like, you feel like there's a big gap between that meeting where they're so excited and you're getting them enrolled and they're getting their first information, and then you wait 5 days, 6 days, 7 days, sometimes in Spokane. And I always tell them, Spokane is a rarity, but it takes forever to get your orders here. And so
You don't want them to get buyer's remorse or something.
totally, that's the big thing. Yeah. And then I like being face to face, and I know there are a lot of business leaders out there who have it all automated, but I really like that personal connection. So when their box comes in, I usually put together a goodie bag of extra things that they didn't order, because I want them to fall in love with the bars. I want them to love slim cakes. I want, you know, if they couldn't afford the e-shots, I want them to have one e-shot on each cleanse day just to keep them, you know, help them get through. So I put together a fun goodie bag, and I'll mail it to them if they're in another state or something. And then, but if they're here, I get together, I bring them their goodie bag, and then I walk through their kit in real time. So, and in between, I send them a protocol. So I've created, and I think most of you probably have it, but I've kind of made up my own protocol to go with get in the box that I think is easier to follow, and I know they're going to have great results. And it includes just like a little, up top, it includes like a little bit of like the 5 fast facts about each product they're going to have in their kit and how to mix it. So this is how you make a great shake. You put 4 ounces of water, 4 ounces of ice, maybe add a little stevia. I mean, so I tell them how to make it, how to mix their cleanse. You can mix it warm, you know, just so I just do that. So I want them to have an amazing first interaction, because those first couple days are going to make or break them.
So so a quick question then. Okay, so let's say.
But that's all. So I made that, created that. I don't want everybody to become custom. Yeah. So I customized it to how I like it, and I think I'm going to get the best results. But now I just
shoot it out.
Yeah, I just customize it for whatever their order is, and so it's not like I'm taking 5 hours each time. I can do it in 15 minutes.
It's already a template you've got. You just go put in the details. So let's say you've enrolled, 6 people this week, right? This week, right? And you're like, just woohoo! Wow! All right. So think about those steps you just described, and the work. I mean, scheduling that in those pieces on the timelines you described. And so, I mean, that would be a fantastic week. But can you fit that in? I mean, family, career, JOB, and Isagenix.
So I actually think about time when I am enrolling somebody, because I want to get them my own version of the welcome letter and all that stuff right after they get their Isagenix emails. I don't want there to be a gap in them to thinking, oh my gosh, auto ship, what's that mean? Like to be panicking. And so a lot of times I will do my enrollments when I know I have like 7 to 9 p.m. at night, when I know I can get that in and get all of that follow-up 1, 2, 3, because if I say, oh, I'll enroll them and then do this tomorrow, it never happens. And so you have to be disciplined, or I have to be disciplined with myself, because I know I will get my conference calls the next morning, and then, oh my gosh, I can do it. So I literally do. I think through, okay, when am I going to have like a block of time? Because it's a lot of times, I mean, our goal is to enroll 2 people per week or whatever. You know? And so I think about, when do I have a block of time to follow through the whole process?
Sure, that makes sense. So, but if you don't know the process, you won't know the block. If you know the block, you know where to plug it in. I got it.
Yeah, so I can share what I send out if people don't have that.
Right on. Awesome.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah.
Any other questions on?
And I think my biggest organization thing is, and my team has heard me say this, but it's just lists. So I have a book so I loved how you said that you put them in the back, because I have this book now, but I had another book before, and I always put my list in the back, and then when I follow up, I put a phone number on there. I keep it really super simple, but I live by my list. So at night before I go to bed, I think, okay, what are the 5 things I have to do for Isagenix to advance my business? And maybe it's just having a conversation with Ken, or maybe it's following up with the 3 people I met today, or whatever it is. But those are 5 things I think I can do. I don't put 20 things, because I won't do 20 things. But what are the 5 things I have to do tomorrow? And then I'll have my, there's always taking the kids to the dentist, and, press release I have to write, and these things. But what are those 5 things I have to do? And so I live by my list, and I love crossing off things on my list. It feels so
Feels good, yeah.
Yeah, and then if I don't do it, just like Carol was saying, they go on for the next day. Yeah. But I would advise everybody, that's the way I sleep great at night, is I have my list for the next day. And I'm going to do that and I prioritize it. So while I have another full-time job, I prioritize Isagenix because this is my future.
Yeah.
You know what? This is going to give me the time freedom and the financial freedom that we all dream about. It's going to let me provide a legacy for my kids, and just give you peace of mind. So yeah, so it's my priority.
So do you find, and I'm this is going on in my life right now, and it's getting harder, but that job, that career that you've built all these years and you got this investment into, and now this possibility.
But I want out.
I know, but you want it. No, this is where I'm going with this. Is that Isagenix has become a different piece and a different emotional connection, and that one is suffering in terms of that now the severing of those ties, where Carol talked about literally sabotaging her place. And that's what's happening with me right now in terms of what I have. My business this year is 20 years old. TreadTech is 20 years old this year, and I'm like, I don't want to do that anymore. It's like it's getting harder and harder. So are you finding that other part being harder and harder to do?
It is. So it's a paycheck.
Yeah.
That's it. And if I wasn't working with people who are also friends, which in this case I am lucky to do.
Oh yeah.
So I've left the corporation and I've teamed up with a couple of friends for this other income. I would be
miserable.
Miserable would be the word, because I need the income, but I'd be doing the job. And so, but I think what gives me, helps me get through that, and this should help you too, is with Isagenix, the amazing thing is that your income does keep going. It's residual.
Yeah.
So ideally, everybody in this room, your income's growing. So every time you get that extra cycle, so Carol was saying, celebrate every new cycle. Do celebrate it, because you're one step closer to that freedom. So that's it for me. It's like I can see a big bright light at the end of this tunnel.
Right. Yeah.
And so so if I have to do this one more year doing both jobs, so be it. But you've got a whole lifetime ahead of you.
Right on. Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about, how you do all of this follow-up and communication with your new people that you enroll. Well, I mean, and you do it with all of us. But I sat down this summer with Betsy Frame, and because I had won, same thing that you did, but with Betsy. And she's like, let's go through your back office. I want to take a look at it. And so we sat down and we pulled it up, and she's like, we were looking at my team, and she's like, well, you've got a lot of people on here, but she's like, so they're not active, she's like, what's going on here? And I was just in that phase of like, I don't know how to, but I started putting these steps in and being more intentional about really just coaching them and being in communication with them. And I can't believe at that list now and how many are active, and how many are coming back now month after month, and watching those cycles grow. But which is great, but it's that relationship that you get to have with these people, and you get to do life with them, You get to have them beside you. You get to just talk with them, and build and do life together.
Yeah. So, and that's it. I think all of us feel like, our Isagenix family, while we've known each other for a very short amount of time, when you think about it relative to like people you went to high school with or whatever, I feel closer to you guys.
I know. It's amazing.
Absolutely.
And you was wondering if we get a copy of the checklist you go through when people get their round box.
Okay. I don't really have it's in a mental checklist, but I can put that down. Yeah.
Is that awesome? That'd be awesome.
Yeah. So it's just something, like I said, that I do. Yeah. But yeah, so that's awesome. And Isagenix makes it super simple to do that sort of follow-up that Jackie was just talking about in terms of the staying in touch and doing that. But every time we have a new shake flavor or a special promotion, that's a great opportunity to go back. And especially now during the 90-day game plan, when we know once a week we're going to have free enrollment or free shipping or something awesome. That's, all of those people who, like Carol's friend who enrolled 10 years ago, that's a great time to go back to those people and say, hey, now is a great time to think about, is there anybody who could benefit from the same health benefits you've experienced, because they're going to get free enrollment or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So
Perfect.
And people really don't mind that you're following up. You know, I think they're flattered that you think of them. You know, and
If you're doing it in that fashion.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly, in
Yeah.
that fashion.
In that
Yeah.
fashion, you know, you
Just
genuinely
thinking
care.
of you, and yeah, it's so genuine.
I know.
yeah, okay. Well, let's
Thank you.
bring Ms.
All right.
Waldenberg back up.
Thank you very much,
Thank you.
Susan.
Thank
Thanks.
I can certainly attest to Susan on the committee, the board that helps plan the follow-up. And I mean, when we set a meeting, it's like, okay, the next moment there's the confirmation. So thank you.
Yes,
She owns that skill. And that's the gift of, you know, none of us have everything, but there's going to be all of us who have something. So
Yes.
I also agree with the relationships. I mean, it's really a tribe of finding people that have such a likeness and such a, you know, a desire to have something else and something more in their lives. How do you stay tuned or connected with your team? Well, combinations, and I think everybody has their varieties of ways. You're the CEO of your company. I do it by Facebook as well. We have the different groups that I'm a member of. And so we just always feel like, okay, we put new people in for product. If they want business, we put them in. If there's something, I know that because I have so many leaders and because so many of them, I call them my children who have flown away. If there's something I think is important, I'll put it in the Inland Northwest page just for people to take a look at. If it's important, move it on to your team. If not, that's okay too. So that's the way I stay connected. And I just tell people I'm very available if there's some challenge. That's why I'm saying sometimes I'm handling some of the challenges that go on. And so I'm a real, you know, accessible leader. And so
You are. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
you're very welcome. Let's see. What tools do you use for keeping yourself informed? Well, for one, they have regular conference calls for, you know, the top 50 in the company. So we stay connected that way as far as what's going on with the company. I'm always looking for who resonates with me for podcasts, for live calls. There's so many of them. Susan Sly has a great one at 7 o'clock in the morning that is fabulous. There's some evening calls that are very good as well. And so my recommendation is, you know, when you go to meetings, big ones, you're going to hear people talk about my call here and there. So you decide, is that somebody that I really resonate with? Susan Sly, yeah, I want to be on the call. Okay. I tested a lot of them out, and I really like Susan Sly. I like Wednesday night with Carol and Peter Taylor. There's other, gosh, and the name is slipping me right now, but they're the young couple in Canada under Jill Bauman that are doing some great video conferencing. And they built from nothing.
Oh, you're talking, yeah, Lynette and Paul.
Thank you. Yeah.
Oh, we thought they were in, I thought they were in Arizona.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they're in Arizona.
Are they in Arizona?
Or they're in,
Oh, Lynette.
Yeah, but
Global Executives.
Oh, I thought they were Canada.
Periscope.
Yeah.
yeah.
Zoom and Periscope and all the good things, yeah.
Sounds like.
And where do I, my resources for finding prospects, everywhere.
Everywhere.
I literally do walk out my door and go, oh gosh, who am I going to meet today?
Yeah.
It's going to be great, you know, and yet be you. You don't have to be me. And it's so fun for me to be able to tell people who are quieter of nature when they start, it's like, Carol, I can't do that. You had sales experience. I'm like, perfect. Then just be you. And that's where I see people literally blossom once. I'm just like, let's get that product in your body, and then you can't shut up. Because you're going to naturally tell people when you have something that has changed in you. So it's just be you, and it's about sharing. If you need ideas about how to share or have the confidence of sharing, it's okay then to come to a leader and say, can you just tell me how to walk into that? You don't have to be me. Nobody. You just be yourself, and your genuineness is going to speak to the people that know you.
Okay.
Can I ask you one more question?
Yes.
So you said Susan Sly's call, and I know I used to listen to it. And then Carol Taylor. How do you find out the number?
Okay, Carol Taylor used to be All in One Business.
Oh yeah.
And they have changed the title of it, and I'm forgetting of it, but I will certainly get it and I'll pass it on to you. Okay. And Susan's, I'll get on to you as well.
So that Team Success, so it would be on that site. Okay.
I have Susan's.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. I get her newsletter. So.
Yeah. Okay, so time frame wise, it's 3:45.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Does anybody want that information for Susan Sly's call?
yes.
Yes.
Okay, I'll write it on a paper and pass it around.
Okay.
So, because there's lots of numbers.
Or we can, the email I
You
sent
want
out
this
to.
with a little piece of paper?
I don't know if you could send it to us.
The email that we're going to put out with this. Yeah.
With the recording.
Yes, we'll add it to that.
Somebody's having some great.
Oh yeah. Your mileage right in here.
I did hand this out because I think it's really good. And anybody who knows University in Action, you will cover this information when you go. And I highly recommend, there's one coming up in March here, and it's in Phoenix. And David Wood, who you will get to know if you do not know him, he is a trainer for the company. A master trainer. He's literally changed my life. And for all of us who have children, it's also a great footprint to start your kids with, kind of mentoring after him. I can tell you that when my Sophia was 14, I took her to Beyond Courage, which was a program that they had back here. And it's basically getting out of your comfort zone. And she went through it with me, which allowed her to have a relationship with David. And David has a son, Calvin, who's the same age. And so it becomes a kind of a life source of kids just paying attention. So whether it's David or somebody that resonates with you, I so highly recommend that you just start your kids in a path of self-development. But he is such a kid-friendly kind of guy that I simply, Sophia, she will listen to his podcasts, okay? Kick-Ass Life or The Network.
Amplified network marketing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And so he has all kinds of guests. And
Oh my gosh, yeah.
so it's just a great space. And I will share an experience I had last celebration, which the experience of Calvin, his son, was at Celebration. And Sophie and Calvin actually went to an Up With People camp 2 summers ago. And so the long and short is, as you know, kids don't listen to parents, but it's always nice for some other kid to influence. And so David called me and said, what is Sophia doing at a social gathering? And I said, I think she's downstairs at the pool. Could you ask her to ask Calvin to come up here? Because, of course, he wants to introduce Calvin to, many of the people he works with. So I just called Soph and I said, honey, just tell Calvin you guys come up. Of course, they came right up, okay? So, so the gift for my girls is to have the relationship, whether it's with other ISA families and their kids. And David was on stage and he came walking down into the audience and he asked the question, so what would it be like if we all were a young person and had the support that we have here today? Wouldn't it be great to grow up in a community like this? And he said, I think we need to hear from a young person. And he looked my way. And of course, Sophie didn't see it, but I went. And so he came over and he had her stand and, put his arm around her and said, Sophia, we've watched your mom. Tell me what this experience has been like. And I mean, truly was just eloquent to see, 17-year-old daughter just be able to speak in front of 13,000 people and really have it together. And so the thought process is, you know what, it's great for me, but therein lies the gift of the education for my daughter, right there. So it was all worth it just to have that experience, because that experience then takes her to a level, and it's not just there, like it's not just here for us. It's the days after, Sophia, good job, Sophia. And that child at that time really needs that. And I know that. Obviously, the universe knows it, and that is so important. So that's the gift of this company. It's more than just us. It is really about creating a foundation for families and the opportunity for all of us to grow into our best lives. And I'm going to kind of walk through this rejection thing, because I think it really is an area that people will walk away from and get stumped. Did you get me again? Yes. Anybody else get? Anybody else? I think one of the hardest things for us is to feel rejection, and that's where I think a lot of people will stop. And so there's 12 steps to unstoppable. And again, I just really paraphrase Mr. Jimmy Smith. You have to know that he's the grandfather of this company and 86 years young. He's now number 2, but has always carried the number 1 position. The yeses built my business, the no's built my character. And my travels around the world, I had to knock on thousands of doors, and I've heard the word no in dozens of languages on most continents. I would like to share a few strategies and observations that hopefully will allow you to explore the business and social life getting rejected daily and loving it. Now that, I'm sure, is from David. Ask why. Begin by asking why. Why is overcoming my fear of rejection important to me? How will overcoming my fear of rejection benefit me, the people I love, and the potential prospects? So again, it's just digging deep with, why am I really afraid? And it is no different than you listen to your kids. Why are you really afraid? Because I've never done it before. I'm afraid somebody's going to think that I'm nuts, or that they're not going to agree with me. And that's very real, until we understand that, yeah, they're gonna. And it's going to be okay. Because the reality is, in this world, we really do have very few people that are on the same level as you. So we don't need everybody to approve of us, as in our children as well, okay? Ask what if. What will be the outcome in your life once you get uncomfortable asking for what you want, regardless of the outcome? Take a moment and picture how your life will be once you get uncomfortable with rejection. Okay, do not take no as rejection, rather than a permission to shut up and move on to your next conversation. Okay? So that's something that David would have us do, literally, is go to people and start talking with them and walk through it and have somebody say no to you. And you're like, okay, you know what, Jackie, it's no problem. It's just not for you today. And every time we have experience with that, it's like, oh, okay, it's no deal, you know? What will happen if you never ask, okay? If you never ask in the world, in the universe, for anything, then you will never get. And I, in the back, heard somebody ask today, and guess what happens to happen? It comes, okay? So you've got to raise your hand and ask, and it will be presented. I believe that, okay? Somewhere, something's going to find you that you were looking for, okay? So ask, and just keep asking. The tenacious ones will rise, and you will get exactly what you want. Okay. Many people dream of great success, while only a few actually stir from their beds and realize their dreams. And again, that's David. So you have to have it stir from your bed to get up to take the action. And you only need 5 steps today. Thank you, Susan. 5 steps. Okay. Flexing your rejection muscle. To truly grow the I no longer fear rejection muscle, it must be used often. Stay in the game. It's important to learn from each rejection so that you can refine your skills and your approach the next time, and more importantly, make deeper connections. So that's where the practice thing will benefit all of us, just to practice being rejected, you know? Okay, here's a good one. You are your own mirror. When approaching someone new, if you are fearful, self-conscious, intimidated in your head, or unsure, you will project those feelings into the person you are approaching, and little to no connection will be made. They feel as uneasy as you do. The tip is, more you practice and collect rejections, the sooner you will consistently get your desired result, which is true. That's why I say, don't be anxious and don't be needy and don't be like desperate. You feel that, okay? You really do have a gift of life, so just stand in the power of that. This will change their life if they choose to open their door today. Tell your truth. Always let your prospect know if you are feeling nervous, self-conscious, or unsure, as they will sense it anyway. And once you have told them the truth, then it's so much easier for both of you to relax. That is true. When you're new, even in my other profession, I would always say, I'm a new rep, you know? I don't have the answer to that, but I'll get back to you. It's my first time doing network marketing. I don't have that answer. I'm a little nervous, but you know what? I have some of these great partners that we can come back to you and we'll make sure we cover that. So it's okay. Some people get ready, meaning they're so paralyzed with having to know so much that they aren't stepping forward to take action. And so you'll always have a backup. It's like, you know what, I'm just not sure, but I'll find it out and I'll come back to you. And that really just takes away the angst of, oh, I gotta know everything. Okay? Become your own cheerleader. Take off your critic's hat and become your own cheerleader. You are going to have to put some sweat in the game. When you get rejected, celebrate. Give yourself a pat on the back and get back in the game. You know? And, I mean, we're all going to fall. And our kids are all going to fall. And what do? We brush their knees off, we get back up, and we say, let's go try again. Okay? So be gentle. And that is also a time to call somebody, to say, oh gosh, I just blew it. Because you're somebody you're connected with is also going to understand what that's like, and then build you up and send you back out the door or walk with you through the next one. And thanks again, Susan. Daily action wins the prize. It's time to set a daily rejection goal. However, first answer these questions. How much success do you want? How fast do you really want it? If you want to become incredibly successful quickly, then choose 4 to 8 rejections a day. The very minimum is 3 rejections. That's right. Go out and collect. No's, the yeses will take care of themselves. Okay? Keep it fun. Attract the yeses. And you do have to keep it fun, because if you get too serious, again, people feel that, you know. So we have to lighten up, and I think that's one thing we need to really work into our lives with our tribes and everything. It's just finding some spaces to have fun in life, because we have so much responsibility that sometimes it's easy to get weighted down. Who's thinking your thoughts? If you could trust your own thoughts, you would already have everything you want. So every time your mind talks you out of a possible encounter, challenge it and do it anyway. Feel the fear, feel the doubt, feel the uncertainty, and then the big action, okay? It's not your thoughts that stop you, it's how you feel about them. Acknowledge your feelings and change them, okay? Practice, drill, and rehearse. Every master, this is David, every master was once a disaster. And that literally is everything in life, you guys. Yeah. We can associate that with everything. So we never stood up without falling down a whole lot when we were this age. Okay, one of the speakers said this week, Mike Dooley, I don't know if you know him, but anyway, long and short, he has a 3-year-old. And he said, when this 3-year-old, you know, when she was taking her first steps, we didn't go, oh, that was a disaster. We were like, good girl, get back up, you know? So that is life. And so that's the attitude of, you know, whether they're beginning or whether we're...
I love that analogy.
Yeah. We didn't squelch that you know, her journey was that she's going to fall down and she's going to get back up. She's going to be thrilled. And what are you going to do? Good girl. You know?
And they fall down like every 3 steps, you know, and they're so tenacious. They get back up because they're so driven to walk like everybody else, you know, and that's what we have in this company. Is we have so many examples of people doing it well. And so you just get up and you do it again.
So to become masterful is going to take practice. Great warriors don't go into battle having never used their weapons. Get a triad together and practice your approach. Practice often and have fun doing it. The tip, practice does not count for your daily rejections, so you will still need to get in front of real prospects, 3 rejections a day minimum, and you'll become a master and have a life of your dreams. Okay? And David would talk about, well, if you have to, that means, you know what, you rehearse to your dog that night, just so that you can have that experience of, I got my numbers in. Perfectly imperfect. Don't fall into the trap of shooting for perfection. Okay, this is so important. Firstly, perfection is the stick we used to beat ourselves with. Secondly, most mortals simply cannot relate to perfection. Keep it real, be yourself, have fun. Remember, it's a sorting process. Find people who are looking for you. And every end has a beginning. Start with the end in mind. It's time to take action. No one can do this but you. Take a breath, trust yourself, feel the fear and uncertainty, and go ask for what you want. If they say no, celebrate that you have succeeded in getting a rejection. Now go ask somebody else. Remember that the life of your dreams and the dreams of everyone you love comes down to you falling in love with the word no and overcoming the fear of rejection. And the tip is it's never, ever about you personally. Rejection is simply a no or I don't know. It's not the time. I don't understand. I've been hurt before. I hate being sold or thousands of other possible reasons. That now is not the right time. Move on. Bless them, release them. I take rejection as someone blowing a bugle in my ear to wake me up and take action rather than retreat, said Esther Salon. So that's part of being able to understand that rejection is just a part of the game in anything in life. Okay, it's no different here. Okay, it's really getting solid with a belief in yourself, belief in the company, the profession, and that's where, you know, you have to be at a 10. Doesn't mean you're going to be at a 10 today. Okay, it's a walking process. It's a working process. I'm working to get there. And some days it'll be, oh, I'm a 10, and doggone it, why am I back here at a 6 again? You know, what do I need to do to get there?
Yeah.
Do you still struggle with that today?
I struggle with it today.
With your belief in any of those, what, is it 4 categories?
You know what? I certainly do not with company, because I've seen nothing but integrity. This company is like bar none. Profession, no, I think it's the greatest profession in the world. In myself, I still have my days. You know, I'm not perfect. I still have my days of, why didn't that one go right? You know? why didn't he or she see it? And I just have to, you know. I think the worst thing we can do, and the thing that we do so well, is critical self-talk. Instead of, you know what, it is as it is. Okay, done. Boom. Put it in. Okay? And so I think that, you know, becomes a human daily goal. Yeah. So, but I recoup a lot faster than I ever did when I started. I recoup to, okay, remember, this is what it's about. And sometimes it's just really not about me. And that has to be my reality. I'll say, get over yourself. You know? And so, okay, the second one I gave you was modeling. Was it modeling? I have so many. Okay, practice sessions for setting an appointment. And I really do think that modeling, whether it's our 30-second story or being able to tell somebody about ourselves, is really important. I'll give you a brief, you know, I think I shared, for the most part, this is how when I meet somebody, I line up, well, if we have time, I'm going to talk right now. You know? If I realize that, okay, they're under time constraint, or if I am, my goal is to get them to take a look. take a look at isamovie.com, exchange name, phone number, emails. And then I've learned through the years, clarify it. When you get home and you're like, oh my God, I can't read the writing. You know? So just clarify, it saves you a step. And then ask for an appointment. Can I call you, tonight after your children are in bed? Or, she'll, no, that doesn't work for me. It does work. So really set an appointment. If I can get a one-on-one meeting, let's meet for tea, that's how I like to do it. I'm just And so that's really the deal. And then, I give them reasons, and if they're giving me all kinds of excuses, I just turn it to them and say, what's keeping you? Have I not answered? I take it on to myself. Have I not answered the questions that you need to make a decision? Or what are your questions in order for you to make a decision tonight? I have free enrollment, till Friday, or I always bump it to Saturday because I don't want to be working on
Sunday.
last minute
last
stuff.
minute.
I try to not do that because it really is hard. So that's pretty much in a nutshell. That's what that's saying here. Chicken list. Let's talk about a chicken list because we all have a chicken list. And hopefully I have enough copies. Oh, shoot, I don't. Okay. Here's 3.
Oh, here.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I stopped actually to get some copies, and the coffee shop had the big sign open on it, and it was closed. Okay. Chicken list. Everybody needs to make one. Okay? And I have actually a separate chicken list that for my major chickens. Okay? So I go, okay, I categorize them. Okay, this is like somebody that they're in network marketing. I'm going to need a big dog, to help, get to them. So first of all, you have to make your list. Okay? You do want to call when you're empowered or when you're maybe with somebody. I always tell my people, you know what, I'll come over and let's call together. Let's call your people together. Okay? So that I can assist them in, again, feeling like, okay, no problem, And that is true. When you are smiling and there's energy, and you really have this, oh yeah, this is gonna be great. I never sit down. Often in my office, I'm not sitting down. I'm talking to people. I'm walking and talking, and again, that just kind of lifts an energy around. And I'm also seeing, all right, this is gonna go this direction. Okay, you really are looking for people who are looking for you. Okay, and I'll say that over and over. Tell the truth, remember to tell who you are. This has been my experience. I've been on this product for 10 years now. I have the best health of my life. I've been able to create an income that has allowed my daughters and I to have total freedom. And some people can't even see that, so I start small. Been able to help people create incomes to cover house payments, car payments, to be able to send their kids to college. So start small if I think that they have a small money blueprint, okay? If they're a big blueprint, then you know what, I go big, okay? So you just work with wherever they are in their life. Always, as we know, common ground, and whatever that looks like. Our kids grow up together, or, we go to the same church, so that you have family, occupation, recreation, and then there's my message. Okay, you don't just go to the Isagenix message first. Create that common ground. So important. Passionate about what you say rather than it's about how you feel, what you say. Share your story with feeling, excitement, and urgency. So people will feel your passion and they will acknowledge that, oh my gosh, she's off the charts over what she's doing. I've got to at least pay attention to her. May brush her off, but I got to hear a little bit. Okay? Without a sense of urgency, desire loses its value. Don't be the expert. Once again, you guys, you can convey excitement. You can direct them to the videos. Why? because you want to duplicate. You want them then to go home and send their sisters, sis, I want you to go to Isa movie. And then sis, so that duplication is the key to this business. Okay. Follow through is the art of following up. Immediately ask what got you most excited, the products, the opportunity, or both. 3 types of answers you will get once you watch the video. I am ready to go now. We love these kind, I always say, oh, my action person. You sign them up, chocolate, vanilla. I have a question. Action step, initiate a 3-way call, bring in an expert, okay? So that's like, if you need validation, you bring in one of your leaders. Susan, I need you to do a 3-way with me because this person, she's a little concerned about how do I coordinate it working my other job. Okay? And we all have a story, and our stories are all great. But I always tell people, here's where my strength is. I can talk to somebody who's straddling corporate America and trying to do this, a single mom who's using a lot of excuses. So just let me talk to her and let her know that it doesn't have to be overnight. It can be one step in front of each other, okay? Mm-hmm. The timing isn't right for me right now. Action step, ask permission to call back another time, 3 to 6 months. You never know when their situation will change, and you ask them for referrals. One call can change it all. Have the courage to call. Take action immediately. Make a list of 10. Begin calling 3 ways, etc., etc. So the action part of it is the most important in your store. And you have a desire to take action. Is there any questions that I can specifically work towards? We do have time, and of course I can go on and on, but I like to tailor it to people who just really want to know, how do you do your situation? How do you work with your sister group?
So Carol, you talked about, and I've heard this over and over, and we've talked about it within our groups as well, keeping it simple. And yet to a knowledge-based, know-it-all individual such as myself, I gotta be into that space of having all the answers. Do you find yourself actually toning you down and literally using the tools, not answer the question, circle back sometimes? I mean, I
do, Ken, and that I was coached by Joni. And Joni always took it like this: Carol, you over to some coaching, and I always knew that there was something coming. But it was always good. It's always kind of like, looking for it great, because she said, shut up. And it's like this: you may be enchanted with the science, and you come from pharmaceutical and la 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 la, but we don't care. This is simple. Okay, send them to the movie, and when in fact they ask a question about hypertension, diabetes, no problem. Dr. Ina Nozak, if you go to isaproduct.com, she has a live call in the AM and PM. I'd like to get on that call with her. So yes, you're shifting, and you're showing them how to become actualized. Because I was doing let me help you, let me do this, let me do this, let me tell you about this. And now you need to be quiet, because people then will watch me and go, oh my gosh, she's been in pharmaceuticals, she's been in sales, I can't do that. And you want people to go, put in the DVD player for a launch meeting, share my story, and you know what? Have somebody introduce you, and they go, oh, I can do that. Mm-hmm. So that's the difference. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now, again, depending who your audience is, I'm starting to reach out towards more medical care people. And yes, I am showing data, because that's their trigger. Mm-hmm. Okay. I'm showing data, and then I'm also saying, you know what, some of the other physicians are finding that you're going to have $500,000 in your business next year if you choose to be paid for your wellness patients by Isagenix, and then continue with your sick care patients with managed care, HMOs, etc. So I'm also showing them that there's many healthcare providers that are seeing this as an avenue of wellness.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense. So knowing your prospect, knowing your audience, and then tailoring you to fit, just like any other scenario where you're matching those that energy. And so I find myself a little challenged in making sure that I dim it down.
But I think, Ken, your strength too, because you are in the gyms.
Yeah.
The athletes are going to want to know some of these details.
Yeah.
And so that is your strength.
Yeah. Thanks. Yeah. And you're right. There is, like, you're in your medical group. They're wanting data.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and trainers, you're right. They want to know how.
Yeah.
Why. And how do I modify it?
And compliment to you, Ken, as well, just watching you Thursday night. First of all, very strong and confident, but you're so believable because you walk the talk. I mean, you're a picture of health. I can look at you and go, okay, like, I believe you.
Yeah.
And that is so important. And at the very least, I tell everybody, it's not that we can't ever have a pizza or wine or anything. Be a product of the product.
Right.
Because people go, literally, they've said to me, she still has her renal. 5 years, she still has her renal.
Yeah.
So unbelievable. And I also tell people there's places where you're mentoring. Like if there's somebody I'm sort of prospecting, I'm kind of like, I'm not going to have that chocolate chip cookie and wherever I am, because I'm like, you know what, I got to walk a little straighter right now. Doesn't mean I won't ever have it. I say, I'm choosing not to have it right now. I may choose to have it in the afternoon or another day, but there's no, like, oh, I can't ever have it. But somebody maybe, as I'm wearing my logo with Isagenix, and I see, oh, there's somebody I can prospect me, I maybe I want to stand up a little stronger right now. So I just say, be conscious of what's going on and be a product of the product. And again, it doesn't mean that we can't have, whatever we choose.
Pizza and beer last night.
Yeah. It's true. And I think that when people see that too, they go, oh, you can do that too. So, there's a balance. And I just say, 80-20 rule. So, you know what? We get to have our other likes as well of, gosh, I've always loved, chocolate chip cookies. I still do chocolate chip. I just don't need the whole box, and that's the best part.
I have a question kind of related to what you're talking about. So your team must be ginormous, right?
Yes.
I mean, we're all a part of your team, but you're personally enrolled. So, like, how do you manage that? Do you start coaching them? You need to come to me when you need something because I can't know when to reach out to everybody, or
and that is a dance, and that is probably the best option right now. That I tell people, then to raise your hand. And I literally am honest. I'm like, I forgot to return your text or your the voice message. Can you please touch me? Because I'll get started on one thing and then I'll get a call from corporate because I'm handling something over here and like, oh, this one got dropped. And so I just tell people, please, I am not offended if you're, hey, remember, and so, yeah, that's how I like my new people, I'm just trying to, I feel like I've got everybody, and yet obviously I have some great leaders who have just flown away. But then within that, for instance, I had a couple of people who, for whatever reason, didn't resonate with a leader. And so I'm mentoring and coaching them, which is fine.
Adopted folks, you mean?
Yeah. And I'm really great about adoption. And
Yes, you are. Any country.
Yes. And so, I'll just really just do the best I can with that because it sometimes gets overwhelming with, but I just feel like there's different situations that are going to resonate with all of us. And just try to give you what I got, and certainly your teams as well. And, some days I'm on the number, and some days I'm like, oh, I forgot to get back to those 3, and they're still, touching me. So that I really am honest. I'm like, just touch me if I haven't returned or something hasn't happened.
I say the same thing. It's like, I'd rather you keep bugging me because Yeah, it's harder to remember to follow up on a message that was left than have somebody just catch
Well,
up
and
right
my
time.
biggest challenge is that, I'll be handling something and then I get distracted with another something that
It's
I've been
big.
on that project and it needs me when corporate, when I see corporate on, I'm like, oh, I gotta drop everything. I'm over here. Then I'm following up for what's over here. And so anyway, yeah.
60 to 70,000 thoughts a day, but only one at a time.
You
That's
know
all
what?
we get.
And from the conference this past weekend, I'm really walking away with stop it, Carol.
Yeah.
Just stop. Do one thing at a time.
Yeah.
Because it's really confusing for the brain. And I'm teaching my daughters too that, when my doors close, girls really do need to honor that. Because when I get, and I'll just relate it to them, I'm like, okay, I want you to sit down and I want you to have your books here. Okay. And then I come right over to them and go, okay, so here, I need you to do ABC. And then I go away, let her do it. I said, oh, so so that they understand that this stop and go, whoa, do we waste a lot of time? Because then we have to regroup to come back to what was I really doing?
Yeah.
And the amount of energy expended. And so I need to really, that's one of my goals, because I am used to dancing in so many directions that that's become a huge habit of mine. So I'm trying to go, okay, this is what I'm going to do right now. And sometimes I'll just say, don't interrupt me, I got to get this done, I got to go here. Hang on, let me get this, So anyway, so yes.
And so my students and my kids I'm constantly like, I'll set a reminder. So I have a whole list of reminders on my phone that just alarm, because I do that same thing. Oh wait, I'm here, I'm all over, I'm scattered. So, they kid me about setting those alarms, but it works. I do that too. Yeah.
Do we have any questions from our outside groups, or any questions that's come in via text from people that are out watching that they want to be addressed specific?
I didn't have anything. We're a little bit on lag time here with the video. I think we're like 30 seconds behind or so, but I did send a chat message out to all of them and let them know my text number if they have questions, or they can add it to this box, and then I can unmute them.
Okay.
And do that.
So I have a question. So have you done any work internationally with Isagenix yet?
I have a couple of team members international, but I have not actively.
Okay.
Gone to the countries, and it is in my goal and bucket list of yes. And I plan on going to Australia's celebration.
Oh.
I have footprinted it for next year.
Okay.
And I have all intention of building internationally, and part of that is around my girls too. Sophia's 17, so she'll, she will go with me if all works well with how we're coordinating, school and such. That is definitely when my children are up and out. People say, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm going to go to these other countries and build.
Yeah.
And have fun, So my job right now is, my girls.
Yeah.
And that's where my priority is. But the fun thing is I see that, it really is endless.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is like I have Carlos down in Colombia. And see, I always hope, I went to Costa Rica for a year and a half ago for a year. Took my babes out and went on an adventure year. So it was all about, again, being uncomfortable, living out of the box. How do I get to school to find them? No clue. Really, it was like I landed in a country. I knew the hotel I was staying in, and I knew that they were going to this school. Now, how I was going to get to school, nothing. So it was just a great adventure year that, we just literally, it was the best year of our life. We talk about it all the time. Challenges? Yes, every day, But, I want to teach them that risk is such a great thing. And then, we'll figure it out, and that we got each other. So there are times it's like, all we got is each other right now, because we don't know anybody here, And why was I telling you that?
I just came international. You said
International.
Carlos.
I was
Yeah.
hoping that I would be able to open Costa Rica with it, because I have such a great footprint there with some
Yeah.
gym owners and such. And by golly, it's just too small a country for them to do right now. But I'll tell you, the moment that they do, I'm there.
Yeah.
But Colombia is beneath Costa Rica. And I met Carlos at one of our big meetings, celebrations, and he just sought me out. And I was just so honored because he was new to Isagenix. And immediately we loved the energy. I mean, it's a gentle nature. Hi, who are you? How are you? And he since has been becoming very successful. So I just saw him at NYKO, and he's got this big team with them, and he's so lovely. He's like, "Come to Colombia." I'm like, "I'm coming." I will host and show you around. I'm like, so you find these friends who literally I will have him, show me around Colombia, and it becomes, rather than going to be a tourist, I've always believed you want to be a traveler.
Yeah.
With the people. And so
That's awesome.
it's just right up my alley.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And we're friends on Facebook, and we're always talking on Facebook. So reach out to the international people as well. Oh, and then we have, oh my God, Australian couple who are the #1 income earners in Australia. And the long and short is I watched her do my bucket dream last summer of seeing Andrea Bocelli in Italy.
Oh.
And she's from Italy, and they just bought a home there. And anyway, so she went to this concert that is absolutely like, I'm going. And so she's my mentor to say, here's how you go. Here's what you do. Here's the contact. Okay.
There you go.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Tracks to run on.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It's crazy. So international, not physically right there, but I'm again laying the foundation of where I see myself being, or having the choice. As I tell my girls, create the choice is everything. Yeah.
So we've got about 30 minutes to honor that 4 o'clock stopping spot. So is there any burning questions or things that we want to cover that we didn't? That you think that, and now think about this. We in this room, I think, represent a passion for building, a passion for where we can go with this, not where we are. So remember, Carol is that symbol of where we can go with this. So with that in mind, think about, where she's painting a great picture. And if I'm just going to stand up and join you. I'm going to join you, Carol. But she's painted a great picture, and she did mention something that she did, which is the I Can Do It conference that she went to in Seattle. And the leaders, the presenters that are there, really give a sense of power that we don't tap into enough. And when I say sense of power, and that's ourselves. Okay, we don't tap into that enough. And so it's a little tough when I ask the question, is there something, because where you are isn't where you see yourself. So if you're seeing yourself where you are, you're never going to push. You're never going to change. You're never going to seek out the knowledge that you need to move to that next level. So what you know now isn't going to get you there. Okay, it's what you don't know yet. So we need to think a little bit forward in that respect. And now here's forward for us. I mean, Carol represents that forward picture. And so if there's something that we didn't cover, I'd love to, think forward for a moment, yourself as a 6-figure income earner, or just a comfortable lifestyle. And where's your block?
I have a question kind of along that line, I guess. So Mindy asks, right now I have a very tough time finding balance between work, school, family, and Isagenix. How much time did you spend working on this business initially when working the full-time job? And how do you find balance? I know it was touched on, but it got cut out a bit during that time at the end.
Good question.
So Mindy, hi. This teleconferencing is so wild. So you have to understand, initially I didn't want the business. And so it was from doing the same old that I got the same results, and I hated my job. And people were asking me about, I released 18 pounds total. So people saw me and they realized that, oh my gosh, there's something different. However, I was blocked. So the time spent initially was none. Okay. And then I had a collision course with work and it disappeared. Okay. So I had to build this business. I did take the summer off because I'd always wanted a summer with my girls. And I started it up in September. And I walked right next to my coach and my mentor, Joni Brewer. So the time spent was I went after it with determination, 24/7. Okay? Now, I'm a single mom. I'm the breadwinner. Did I really work 24 hours? No. But I really mentored after Joni that allowed me to skip faster because she had been doing the business. So I suggest you get real with what your real time frame is. If it's an hour a day during your lunchtime, make that hour productive. And if it's when kids are in bed at night, make that time productive. You can only know what your schedule is going to permit. You will start moving in a direction of independence financially, whether first the car payment, the house payment, and then you will be able to say, okay, you know what, this is looking like there's an opportunity for me to go further and faster. So if you're working a full-time job, just be realistic and be productive with the time you have.
Awesome question.
How are you going to retire from this? Forward thinking.
Uh-huh.
How do you retire, or do you not plan on retiring?
Okay. I think most importantly in life to have a choice is everything. Okay. I know I can. And I don't see myself retiring. Why would I? I'm having too much fun.
Yeah.
You know?
I know. Isagenix was the fun part.
Yeah. And so again, choices are everything. Now my life could change tomorrow if something, happened to one of my daughters. I have a choice. And that's the gift that I hope that all of you get to experience is the choice. Now, I love to travel and I love what I do, and I know that I got to spread the message. And I could literally talk forever about Isagenix because I love it. So no, I'm not retiring anytime soon. And, I see my purpose even after my girls are gone, why not go to Australia? Why not go to Colombia? By then, hopefully I'll have, Costa Rica open. So,
Yay.
Yeah. So I need to know who has somebody that's sitting on the edge of life, and you're trying to get them to understand that network marketing is the best profession in the business. Anybody have? And do you like books or do you like CDs? Probably a book. Okay. So this one's yours, and this I highlight and recommend for everybody.
Yeah.
Business of the 21st century. Now, every time I get a book, I do write my name in it. So now it's time for you to write your name in it because it's yours now.
Okay.
And then you highlight what speaks to you.
Okay.
Okay. Yes, dear. Oh, yes. And I have everybody, if I can get the book or the CD in their arms. Okay. I do have everybody take a look because, again, be concerned about what you don't know. There's so much people don't know, but they do know this name. And so if I say, listen, you are cutting edge. This is the business of the 21st century. Okay? So it's 20-minute tape, and I don't know however you read, but anyway. So the other question is, who's so busy that they need this in their car?
Right? That's powerful. Play it in your car.
Are you? Yeah.
Drive around with you.
Mindy, the one that just asked the question.
Okay, so then you and Mindy need to share this.
Okay.
So I'm going to pass it on to Mindy, and then say, Mindy, I need it back. And then what I do with that is I'll give it to people, and if I, like for instance, my one that came Thursday night, I'll give it that to her. I need her. If it's somebody who's sort of maybe, I'm like, you know what, I'd like you to just have it for 24 hours and then you can return it to me. That'd be great. I'm really smart with resources. Erase all of me and you belong there. Okay. So just know that everything I do there. And then I need to know who has any clue about the tax benefits of this business and wants to learn about tax benefits. Because okay, this ma'am.
You know what? I'm hiring an accountant, so go ahead and give it to somebody else.
Okay, so
Well, you may need to
yeah,
educate your
you
accountant.
need to update yourself, dear,
Okay.
and I got more too. Did
Okay.
you? Okay, so I have more, so raise your hand, and I don't have it with me.
Okay.
But you need to talk to me, okay? And I also tell people, you know, if you've got an accountant, great. I have a great accountant who's very network marketing savvy.
Is that the guy who came for the
That,
Yeah, but,
the business
Neil.
summit?
Neil.
Neil.
but my accountant and him work together.
Okay.
So that's my other gift that I want to help people understand. There's going to be places as you move into this that you really do need very qualified people. And so again, I've been there and I'm in that camp. And so if I can resource you to people who are going to help you with the tax advantages as a consultant, and then an accountant that knows how to put it where it goes too. Because same thing I've been told, accountants are just like docs. They play in a square box, safe, 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 versus, okay, here's some other opportunities. You want somebody out of the box in mind, okay? And then what else? We got some other. This is kind of a fun one. 5-minute wellness, and this is by a chiropractor, Dr. Eric Kaplan. Who would like to have Dr. Eric?
Would it help talking to a chiropractor?
It will, because he is
I'm
one.
the same chiropractor.
And he has an incredible story. He really does. And it started out with truly having Botox done that he ended up paralyzed. It's a great story. And I can tell you I have met him, and he endorses Isagenix big time. So again, I'm just happy to.
I'll just pass it on.
Yeah. Okay. And then how to be fit and fabulous and become financially free. This is Michael Klaus.
Oh, yes.
Okay. And this is something that you can tap on people who are considering a career. Like, this is ridiculous. Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. This is Jim Rhodes. He's lovely.
You will love that.
What I do is I tell people, put this in your car.
Yeah. And then you'll
Educate
know why
yourself.
you're working with Isagenix.
And then call me. Because here's the deal. If they don't get it on this, they ain't gonna get it. So you say, okay,
That is so smart.
they will get it after listening to this CD. Okay? And if they don't, don't waste your time. Okay?
Right? Bless and release.
Yeah. All right. One last one. I'm going to need your help, Ken.
Okay?
Okay? This is absolutely a foundation, I think, of everybody who has ever built in network marketing, this individual Jim Rohn. It's absolutely off the charts. Awesome. It's great for our children as well.
A little piece about Jim Rohn. So you've heard other mentors, other speakers, other motivational people. Jim Rohn is their mentor. This man is the guy who is literally the mentor to mentors.
Yes.
Yeah. So think about that in terms of qualification, in caliber, right? I have one.
Oh yeah, give it to Sarah. Oh, give it to one of them. Yeah.
Who's the new kids?
New kids? Brand new.
I gave it to
I'm not familiar with anything you guys are talking
Okay.
about. No. Who are you with? Oh, congratulations. Okay. And then just share it.
You can share yours with Darla and I'll give it back.
I have one.
Yeah. Okay, and one last thing, guys, before we go. Because I really believe if there's anything you walk away from today, I'd like to read just this little poem, and it's called This Is It. It's by James Brookton. This is it. And I am it. And you are it. And so is that. And he is it. And she is it. And it is. And that is that. Oh, it is this. And it is thus. And it is them. And it is now. And here it is. And here we are. And so, this is it. You create
Be in the moment.
the dreams of your lifetime. And this company and this team will get you to where it goes. Take you.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So I want to close something up real quick here. If I take anything away from this today from Carol, and I mean, I have notes and notes and notes, and I've taken so many away already. If I could take something away, and the things I'm probably going to share with my team, the one thing I'm going to take away is professionalism. So think about that. We are professionals, and the goal is not so much ISA accounts, but heart accounts, right? And so, but there's a professional way to do that, and stepping into that, and having that presence, having that, being prepared, and having that stature, right? Having that that presentation. And that's what I get from Carol is a complete professional and a heart that goes along with it. So, and we heard a little bit about that development. That's been a journey for Carol, right? The professionalism still lived once upon a time, but the heart was in a different space. And now they're combined, right? And so that coherence between heart and mind is starting to show up. And with some of the other training that you're doing, you know, the kids are now feeling it and seeing it, experiencing it, and growing to a whole new level. Something that we don't necessarily get in other arenas that we operate in. The level of a literal spiritual level, you know, from being in a quiet space for a moment, taking care of us, and then see what's presented, what we manifest into our life, not what we get thrown into, but what we manifest and draw into our lives. So that's, I mean, look at what she's drawn into her life, and I've been working in that same arena in terms of how am I manifesting, what's showing up on a daily basis because of what I do, and as soon as I became intentional, right. So thank you. I'm glad you're all here. I think we have some cake.
Yes. Yay! The wedding 10 on it. I want a picture of you with your cake. Maybe I'll take a picture of you and Carol.
Somebody, I don't have any more film.
Or maybe Heather, will you take a picture of Carol and I with them?
Yes. That's funny because a little story, if you haven't heard this before. So a little bit of a story here. When I was manifesting Crystal Director. I mean, I was literally in my mind, in my space, in my awareness. I wanted Crystal Director. And I said, I know what I'm going to get, a cake. And I actually designed my own cake in my mind. And I made a picture. I found a picture of exactly that. And I had a friend of mine make it. And so I had a Crystal Director cake party at Applebee's. And they didn't know what the heck was going on at Applebee's. But I'm like, it's a party. All right. So
Okay, so here we go. 1, 2, 3. Yay. Couple more. Hold on. There we go. And let me get a little closer so I can. Okay.
Yay.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. Ooh, that's a good one. Okay.
Yay.
I have 6 on there. You can take
Look at what you made for me.
Oh,
That's so sweet.
What's
Love
it
it.
say?
It says, Ken and Sarah, Crystal Executive. Blue is my favorite color, so
I was like, okay. I know. After I was like, oh, I should have asked her.
Is it really?
it is. It's my favorite color. So
It's my favorite color too. Even though you're,
even though I'm a red, right? But red and blue have always been, as I grew up, I was like, you asked me, what's your favorite color? Well, depends on what week. It was that or it was blue. Oh, so thank you. Woo.
Does anybody want cake?
I can't. I would if I could.
You can't have any?
I'm allergic to wheat.
Well, you can either have it or what, you can take it home to your little
Oh, yeah,
girls.
take out the kids.
Yeah.
What?
You know what? Copy the